Hey, retail business owners, welcome to this week's quick video. And today I'm going to be talking about the 10 pro tips on how you can increase retail sales in your shop for 2023. Yes, it's getting down to 2023 pretty fucking soon. And so I thought I would just launch with some strategies, 10, in fact, strategies that you can use in your retail business to increase sales for 2023 so that you can start to get the ball rolling and have an amazing 2023. Before I launch into the video, I would love it if you could smash that subscribe button, also smash the like button, and also put down any comments, any questions that you may have at the end of this video. But I'll also go through that at the end. So when it comes to increasing retail sales in our business, most retailers make the mistake of really trying to focus only on marketing. And don't get me wrong, marketing is great. And it's one of the strategies that we should be employing. However, I would argue that we would probably need to employ the marketing strategy later on once we've got the foundations of our retail business set up. However, that's one of the major mistakes that retail business owners make when it comes to increasing sales in their business. They really focus on marketing. And, the consequence of that is really we spend most of our time, if we're focusing on marketing, jumping from one marketing strategy to the next and trying all these different strategies without really giving each strategy enough time for it to work. So that's one of the impatient dangers of being a retail business owner, right? I used to do the same things in my retail business. I would just, before I had a business coach, I would just run from strategy to strategy and not really, allow the marketing strategy enough time for it to work. So, and this usually happens because we're always running around in our business as a retail business owner. We're constantly putting out fires, trying to manage the shop while at the same time trying to think about growing our store, dealing with our team, and dealing with all the other fires that come up into our store. So what I want to walk through now is just some of the 10 tips that I have to increase retail sales in our store. And many of these tips don't actually cost that much money. So let me just roll into it and excuse me. So the first thing that we need to do is track and measure. So track and measuring is a really important fundamental that we need to set up in our retail stores. Like I mentioned before, many of us who are doing marketing, we have no way of knowing whether it's working apart from top line sales, and we don't give it enough time. But I think one of the most important things is to track and measure some significant KPIs in our business. And all of as a retail business owner, I think KPIs are so important because they allow us to, one, know how well we're going, and two, really allow us to manage and grow and run our retail business from afar through the use of KPIs. So that's number one. We should be tracking and measuring important KPIs that are pertinent to our business, because the tracking and measuring then flows on to the next thing, which is promotions. So yes, I mentioned we should not be doing marketing until we're ready, but we still can be doing in-store promotions. And in-store promotions don't need to cost a lot of money. We can be doing promotions based on our demographics, based on the products and services that we have in store. So think about how you can implement some promotions in your retail store to increase sales without spending any money. The next thing is, retailing 101 is ensuring that we have our merchandising all sorted, right? So that means we have product penetration, we've got tickets, although I see this slide doesn't have any tickets, but it's really important to have tickets in place, pricing, especially if you're in FMCG retailing, or even if you're in high boutique retailing or luxurious goods. You want to make sure that you have the product intensity in place and you have the product range, and you want to make sure that it's merchandised properly. Making sure that you have a system in place for your staff to be constantly pulling forward stock and all that kind of thing. So yeah, that's Merchandising is really important. The next thing is a really great strategy to increase sales, increase retail sales in our store is to start moving stock around. So most customers notice, when we move things around, and we just might catch their eye. And that's a really, really great way of capturing new sales and increasing sales. Because if you're not constantly tweaking, testing, and measuring in your store where particular products are, where particular perhaps gondola ends or special promotions that you've worked out, if you just leave them in one spot, they look kind of dead. Your customers will probably just walk past it without even realizing it. So it's really important that we have a strategy in place to move stock around. Next thing, we want to make sure that we have our point of sale system all sorted, right? So this is a few things. This is making sure that we've run updates on our point of sale. We have all the latest equipment in place so that we can take our clients and customers' money really, really easy. Also, a really good to ensure that we have in our point of sale system and close by in that particular area, we want to make sure that it's very well merchandised for impulse purchases. And that's the key takeaway here for our point of sale area, is to make sure that we've got products that we can easily display that can just raise our average basket size just by people being spontaneous and just grabbing it. The next thing that we want to do to increase sales in our retail stores is to actually organize in-store events. So this is one of the great ways that you can tap into your database, which I'll talk about in a minute. Hopefully you have got a database, but just to create a little bit of a vibe, a little bit of action, to create a little bit of a story, and host in-store events, which can be supremely profitable and can increase sales. It's a really great tip to do some of these in-store events over the course of the year. And now at the end of 2022, this is a great time to plan them. We also want to make sure that we're going really, really hard on our loyalty program. So if you don't have a loyalty program, you need to get one in place, whether it's a whiz-bang electronic type system or whether it's just with cards. But in any case, your team members need to ensure that we're collecting email addresses, that we're fully utilizing the loyalty program so that we can have the full database of our clients and customers. And then from there, we need to ensure that we need to ensure that we have campaigns in place, that we're constantly keeping in touch with them, emailing them, sending out promotions. So really, really important thing to do. The next thing is we need to ensure that our team are all across upselling and cross-selling. And what I mean by that is we're making it easier as a retail business owner for our team to upsell and cross-sell. So this falls back on the merchandising. So we want to make sure that we've got products and services that are located together that have the ability to upsell and cross-sell. And we also want to make sure that our team are trained on how to upsell and cross-sell. So this is one of the big missing pieces that we have in retail, is because as a small to medium retail business owner, we really are scared to invest the time in our team. But once we do, and once we teach them how to upsell and cross-sell, it's a great way to increase sales in our retail business. And that leads me to doubling down also on staff training. So staff training is, as I mentioned, how to sell. But also you want to make sure that your team are constantly up to date with the latest products that are coming into your store. And staff training is great to build overall morale, and it's a great way to get everybody together. And a lot of retailers, a lot of retail business owners, they don't know how to train their staff. They don't have a system in place. It's really important that you work that out and you get your team together regularly. How regularly depends on your business and what you're selling and how big your business is. But I would argue that at least monthly, you want to ensure that you're having this big staff training, and hopefully you can pepper that with some in-store training on the floor. Social media. So this is another missing piece that retailers make. It's such a great way to increase your retail sales. And it's not about, I think, being on all social media platforms. We need to figure out, or you need to figure out, based on your demographics, who your ideal customers are and where do they hang out. So as we know, there are so many different platforms out there, but once you know where your people are hanging out, it's really important that you engage them in that particular platform that they are, and you need to play the percentage game. There's no use being spread out on all 16 different social media channels. Once you understand where your potential customers are, you need to start going on there, and then you need to start connecting with them. And how do you connect with them? Well, you need to constantly update them about your products and services, run competitions, relate with them, and then you can start peppering in some lives, and you can start promoting your products and promoting your in-store events. And it's a great way to acquire new customers and also sell to existing customers. You can do so many fantastic strategies. You can just have social media only sales, and which will drive your average dollar sale up and drive your sales up. So there are the 10 tips that I've recommended there to increase retail sales in your business. So that's the end of this. If you would like some help with the stuff, just drop the word help below, and one of the team will reach out to you. If I would also appreciate, again, if you could smash that like button. And I'd love to know if you could put in the comments below, what other tips do you have in store that you utilize to increase sales? And what are you thinking of utilizing for 2023 when the next retail year comes up? Drop them into the comment section below. I'd love to hear about it. Until next time, we shall speak again.